Hey there. This is Dr. Pam Perry, and we are here for another Amazon Live talking about a brand new book called The Possibilities of Hope. And we are going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to actually Amazon Live. I'll bring up our guests right after this.
Hey yo, kick back, relax, let's dive in the page. Pam Perry picks got the books for your brain. From fiction and non-fiction, all genres insane. We coming through showing love to the lit game. Greatest stories ever told, gotta find your pick. Imagination running wild, ain't nothing slick. Get lost in the pages, let your mind drift. Pam Perry picks got your brain in the bookshelf vibe. Turning the pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. Bookshelf vibe, turning pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. From the classics to new, we got the books for you. Get your mind right, let the knowledge accrue. Bookshelf vibe, expanding horizons by Pam Perry kicks, keeping readers satisfied. Books up high, knowledge we can't deny. Get your reading on, your book one fly. Click cover image.
Hey there. How are you, Samantha?
Hello.
Good to see you. So you've got a brand new book that is just released here,
Yes.
and it is a book that is really from a mental health therapist, which is you, now a an author. So give us a little bit of the background of how the book came about, because as a mental health therapist, you help a lot of people go through grief and all kind of mental issues. So give us a little bit of backstory about how your book came about.
Okay. Well, I actually had the vision to write the book about 10 years ago. And unfortunately, I didn't finish the book. So, in being a mental health therapist, I encounter people on a daily basis who are struggling with their mental health. And a lot of people, they tend to smile on the outside while struggling, on the inside. So my goal and my inspiration behind writing the book is number one, to kind of tell my own testimony and the things that I have endured and the things that I have been through, with hopes to motivate someone else to keep going, when it gets tough.
Hmm. And so it was your mom that passed, I believe, what was during COVID.
Yes.
That, yeah. So give us a little bit of backstory, because people in across the world were, dealing with that whole pandemic. And one of the worst things about the pandemic was that people who fell ill to that disease, you couldn't see them in the hospital. You couldn't, you couldn't go visit them, touch them, counsel with them. But give us a little bit about what happened with you, because I think you have favor with some of the people in the hospital that allows you to see your mom.
Yes. So my mother had went to the hospital on April the 29th, 2021, from COVID. And she was in there for 29 days. She was in the hospital for 29 days. So she would call us, daily, and we couldn't go, but we would stay on the phone with her, pray with her, play her favorite gospel music. And one of the nurses had called and said, "Look, she's really depressed. It would really be good if one of you guys could come down here. I might get in trouble, but she's really depressed." So I went to the hospital. I was able to pray with her. She loved it, Rance Allen, so I was able to play her favorite, gospel music. So I just prayed over her, and they did allow me to come see her before she had passed.
That is so good. That's favor right there. So we
Yeah.
know she's in heaven. She's in a good place, and this she left you left this as a legacy to her.
Yes.
So this is the thing. It's not just a book. It tells your story in it as well, but you have poems in it as well.
Yes.
So where did the poems come from? Like, they were just like, you're a therapist by trade. So where did the poetry come from? Was that like your outlet? How did that come about? Do you do spoken word anywhere? What is that about?
Yeah, so growing up, my outlet actually was poetry. And I was also known in high school in my neighborhood for writing poems for obituaries. So I
Ah,
said, what good, like the best way I figured to kind of start the book was to, catch the audience attention. So I put a
mm.
little poetry in there to kind of grabs everybody attention. So I figured that was a good way to kind of, to put some poetry in the book.
Yeah, then That's a gift. That's a gift right there. Do you
Right.
ever use that in your practice at all? Any poetry, or is that a therapeutic way that you instruct maybe some of your clients to do that as well?
Yes. So
Yeah,
with my younger kids that I see, I do instruct them to kind of, make poems about their life, or for different topics that they may be struggling with. So yes, I do incorporate that, in my therapy. But I
that
also like to do it as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if I have the book right now, so I I could read some of it. It's called The Root. Do you have a copy of your book with you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So read some of The Root because
Okay.
my eyes are
Okay.
not as good as they used to be. So I would read it, but I need
No,
it to be a little bit larger.
no problem.
So The
Okay.
Root.
Yep. So,
Mhm.
so the root. I decided to start my book with the root because everything has a source of origination. So I wanted to kind of, like I said, draw the reader in and kind of let them know where everything and how everything has started. So I will
Mhm.
read a little excerpt for the root, and you can stop me whenever you want because it's like really long. But this is the poem
Good.
that I started in my book, and it is entitled "The Root." The root began to grow when my mother's belly had begun to show. My father was absent from the beginning, and although I was hurt, I just kept pretending. I was just a child with no clue of what to do. And although my eyes are open, at times I feel like I cannot see. But through it all, God has been there for me. And as I began to reflect, it hurts to look back. But the cries and screams are still in my head, along with the memories of wanting to be dead. And the pain is so deep, years later, and still I weep. For all of the obstacles that have come my way has had an effect, and all of my burdens are beginning to reflect. Feeling helpless, not knowing what to do, not knowing how we would make it through, not having a place to stay, but I watched my mother struggle to make a way. Watching my mother cry, but too young to fully grasp the concept of why. And school wasn't any better. Every day the teachers would send me home with a letter. The kids would tease me about my skin, and I tried my best to hold it in. So I fought the kids every day with hopes that the teasing would go away. I hated school and did not want to go, but I did not want others to know. And the teasing happened throughout the years, and eventually I had ran out of tears. So I reached a point where I wanted to take my life away, but I feared God, and so I decided to stay. So not only did I hate education, I hated my babysitter because she believed in molestation. My babysitter made me sicker, but I was too afraid to tell because she made me believe that she meant well. And although she used her hand to ease her pain, God's love kept me sane. This chapter in my life didn't have much effect, but it still hurts to look back. And although I moved on, my sorrows were not free. More pain waited for me. I was I was a child searching my talent and seeking my gift, but I fell off track and began to shoplift. I took what wasn't mine because adults taught survival to me, but I was still being robbed because the profit I did not see. You see, stealing was not an ideal of my own, but of those who were grown. They pimped me, but it wasn't for sex. Sometimes life can be full of shit like X-Lex, using me as a way to get high, but I feel obligated because I felt it was the only way to get by. Being exposed to those things that a child had no right to see, but love blinded me. Love for those who were in control of what I did. I thought I was grown, but I was just a kid. And as I grew, my body did too. And because of all that had happened, I was bound to believe anything. And I believed that God when He said I was His queen. I was 15 and He was much older than me, but He made me believe that we were meant to be. But after He got what He wanted, He left. And each moment without Him, I feel short of breath.
Going to college gave me
Okay.
a rough start. And though I moved away, my sorrows reminded me at heart. This right here, this poem, because it goes on for several pages, is
Yes.
really like your life
Yes.
wrapped up in a poem.
Yes.
That
Yes.
does not happen. That you wrote that before Chat GPT, Miss Lady.
Yes, yes, I actually wrote it in college. I used to attend a lot of poetry readings, so I wrote it. I started it in college. Yes,
Right, right. And I know because I was like, oh my God, and it really like the it's like your story, but it's in a poem, and then the rest part of it gives a little bit of the narrative, but then it really goes into the reflective questions.
Yes.
And because of your, of being a mental therapist, it really gives like a person a chance to sit and really think through about what it is that they're doing, and it help them get over trauma. Do you feel that when you did this book, that if someone were to read the book, especially if they've gone through all the things that you've gone through, the molestation and all of that kind of thing, teasing at school and all of that, do you think that a person still needs a therapist after going through this, or this will kind of help them if they're going through therapy at the same time, or encourage them to go through therapy once they go through the book?
It- I think it just depends on the situation. So I think that the book is definitely a good starter to kind of open up those traumas that they have experienced in life. You know, a lot of times when I think about the things that I have went through, I smiled through a lot of them. So no one ever knew I was going through anything, you know. So I think this book is definitely, will be an eye opener to some people to kind of reflect on their own trauma.
Mm-hmm. And define trauma too, because there's a trauma. I think the word is used often a lot where I don't think it's really, really trauma. Like someone said, well, it's trauma because, I couldn't, I missed the last thing on sale, or, it's trauma because, you know, I lost my iPhone, whatever. That's not trauma. Explain trauma, grief. Uh, there's trauma of trusting adults. Explain some of the trauma. I guess the barometers maybe from 10 to 1, I guess you would say. Trauma could be like you're in a fire and you survive. And then there's trauma that the people who didn't survive, you're feeling guilt, you're feeling that guilt because you did survive and they didn't. So give a scale, I guess you would say 1 to 10, major trauma down to smaller trauma, I guess you would say. I don't know if that's a medical term.
Okay, so I mean, so trauma, like you said, it can be very broad, you know, just depending what you have experienced. So it could be some of the things I mentioned in the book: molestation, you know, losing a parent, um,
Yeah.
just different life situations that you experience. So, like I said, death. It could be a number of things, you know, and it just depends on, how you handle things
Okay.
that will, kind of help you with that trauma.
Hmm. And most people don't really handle a lot of things well by themselves. So that's what it helps to talk to a therapist, or talk to a pastor, or talk with a wiser person that you who've gone through those type of things. But when you can't talk, or you too want to talk, or you're too traumatized to talk, your book will kind of help them guide through to see that maybe they're not alone. Because like for one, it says where pain meets purpose. In this Romans 8:28 you talk about, and we know that all things, um, God works for the good of those who love Him and those who are called according to His purpose. And then you just kind of give them a little bit of guidance. Pain can feel pointless when we're in the middle of it, but God has promised that nothing is wasted. And so you give them that, but then you also give them the reflection questions. Like when you look back over your life, what painful experiences stand out the most? And how do they shape who you are today? So you take people out of a pit to give them like this is the hope. This is a possibility of hope. It's like, okay, pain had a purpose. So how did it shape you today? So those are the questions that you combine your mental therapist uh, education or experience with the Christianity, which really
Yeah,
kind of holds it together. Is
yeah.
that like the difference in this book versus like other, I guess you would say, mental health books that are out there now?
Yes, because I definitely wanted to tell it from, from my experience, but I didn't want to make the book just about me. So, which is why I put the reflective questioning. But yes, definitely, if it was not for the Lord on my side, I definitely would not be where I am at today. So I really do, thank God for, the person that I have become despite all that I have endured. So that's definitely what makes this book, separate, or that stands apart from, any other book that may be similar, and also telling it from a mental health point of view and being a therapist and also in experiencing these things. I wanted to kind of give the reader, hope that you can overcome anything.
I like that. So
Yes,
the possibilities of hope is available on Amazon. Get it now. You can click the link. We're on Amazon Live. This is a book I think, especially as we go into the holiday season. So I talked with a friend today. She said, it's really weird in the holidays when you are missing your mother and your father, and they were the glue for every holiday from the time we were born, right? They were the person that was there. And then when they're not there, as we get older, because they transition, it's a weird feeling. It's a feeling of grief and sadness all over again. No matter if they died 5 years ago, if they died 20 years ago, you're always going to have those memories of them on the holidays, especially through Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So give a little bit of, do you find that in your therapy that during the later part of the year, November, December, do a lot of people are going through grief counseling, or just really just having more, uh, I guess you would say, more sessions with you because of that?
Yeah, so definitely around the holiday, birthdays, anniversaries, all those things.
Oh,
But
yeah,
a piece of
birthday.
advice that I always give my clients is that, on the birthdays or the holidays, make new memories. We often
Hmm.
think of a death date or birthday. For example, my mother's birthday is October the 4th. I had my book signing on her birthday because I was determined to make a new experience, and
Yes.
sad or down on those days. So
Uh,
definitely those days are very challenging, especially
that
the
is good.
holiday. Yes.
That is good. I had a friend, her name is Karen. She put on Facebook today that today was a tough day, even though her mother passed maybe over a decade or so ago. But she pulled out pictures and she put them on Facebook and just saying just how it never gets easier. But I do like that idea of really creating a new type of memory, because going back and pulling up the old pictures obviously conjures up those old memories and you're missing them, but giving a new memory, writing a book is really a new memory, and releasing that book in their honor is a new memory. And so you can be happy about that instead of just being so sad. I personally, um, not comparing, my pet to anybody's parent, but anybody who's gone through pet grief knows that it can be just as hard because they're with you constantly all the time. I had my dog for a decade. And so it's hard. So what I did is, because I miss them. It's only been a couple of weeks or so, and we're going into the new year. Is I took all of these pictures, well, at least the 12 favorite, and I made a wall calendar so that it's a spiral calendar, and I put it up on the wall. So every month for 2026, I'll see a picture of him, and that was like a new memory. I don't think it'll make me sad, but it made me feel empowered to just do something different instead of just really just grieving that he's not here, but just to say, okay, I'm gonna make a calendar of the 12 pictures of him. And I did the same thing too when my parents passed as well in 2020. In 2019, for 2020, I had a calendar of them. They both passed 6 weeks apart.
Oh wow, I'm
Um,
sorry to
so
hear
yeah, that was
that.
crazy. Uh, and so I did a calendar, and it was pictures of both of them. And like you said, for birthdays and anniversaries and things like that, they were always they're the person that obviously the first person to call you on your birthday,
Mhm.
and then you know their birthdays by heart and their anniversaries. So that was something that people can do as well. But I think when people aren't, in a good space, meaning like they can't do everyday things, they need to work through a lot of the trauma. They need to work through the depression, the sadness, especially towards the end of the year. They call it, SAD. I forgot what it stands for. Uh, it has something to do with not getting enough sun in the later years, in the
Mhm.
later months of the year, because it really does. More people are sad
Yes.
and towards the end of the year. So really getting a book like this will
Yeah.
help people come out of that sadness and just sit with yourself and reflect. I tell people, I said, sometimes you need to turn off the television and
Hmm.
just go and take out a pen and write. One of the questions you ask yourself is, imagine yourself fully healed. How would your life, relationships, and future look? So you're pushing people forward and
Yes.
not really having them remunerate all the bad, but
Yeah.
giving them, you know, even this question, how has grief changed the way you see yourself or your future?
Yes.
Those are the things. You're just having people think outward. And, I guess you could sit there and kind of think of these questions yourself, but why would you when you can get it in a book?
Yeah.
It's
Yes. And,
giving you some guidance. It's giving you some
yeah.
guidance.
And
You
a
don't
lot of
have to
times,
read it.
yep. And a lot of times when we're grieving too, we don't like to talk about it. So we just kind of, we're silent through it. So I think
Mhm.
the book will be a guide and kind of leading an individual to kind of explore their emotions. We don't like to talk about emotions. We
Yeah.
want to be strong. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, that whole want to be strong thing is not really working. That we don't
Yeah,
want to. No one is that strong. It's
yeah.
okay to show that the armor has got a little chink in it. Okay, like it's okay. I went to a therapy group for pets, and it was a pet grief therapy, and I had no idea until you handle it, until you know. There is a pet. I think it's Pet Cloud pet, I think it is, and it's
Mhm.
a free support group for people who lost their pets, cats and dogs.
Oh wow.
And I had no idea, and so my pet was only, you know, maybe a week or so, but some people have been in this therapy, this, I don't call it therapy, they called it a support group, not as
Okay.
therapy, because they weren't therapists, a support group. They've
Mhm.
lost their pets like 4 years, and that kind of thing. So I was
Wow.
like, wow, this is a real thing. But it made me feel more included, that my feelings weren't. Um, I, I I felt more like I'm not the only one.
Yeah, but you're not alone.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not the only one alone. That there are other people that it's like okay, because some people walk up to you and say, "Are you gonna get another dog?" It's like someone asking you gonna get another mother. No,
Yeah.
I can never get another dog like that. That was the only dog that was like that. But unless you have had a pet, you don't understand. So
Yeah.
no one would. If you go to a funeral for a child or a parent or something and say, "Oh, it's so sad," especially a child. "Oh, you're gonna have another baby." Who would say that? Who
Exactly.
would say that you're gonna have another baby like you just lost this child? No, no, that's not what you would say to someone who does that. So anyway, I really appreciate the book, and especially coming out this time of the year. So
Yes.
what are your hopes of the book after the release of the book? What are some of the things that you would like to see happen? Do you want to do maybe more workshops, or you want to go on a speaking tour? What is the next step, I guess you would say?
My goal is to reach as many people as possible, of course, to kind of get the word out, to encourage and to inspire people. My goal is to partner with universities, schools. um, there's
Yes.
a lot of young adults that are experiencing things, like I said, and we just don't talk about them. We Like I
Ah,
said,
that is so
strong.
good.
Yes. So definitely with schools, different schools, colleges. That is definitely my plan to put it out there, and with hopes to inspire other people.
That would be really good. I find that I have friends that have children that are in college, or maybe just recently graduating, or maybe a lot of them are in college. They're having a lot of challenges. And so giving this book to them would be really, really helpful. I mean, when I say a lot, like especially young men, young African American men, they are having a really hard time. One, because men don't uh, talk about their emotions as much as women do. So girls probably will get together and will cry and do whatever. Well, young men, they don't. If they're going through something, it's less likely to really. So having a book where it guides them through these type of questions would really, really be good.
Yeah.
Having it, I went to Wayne State University, or maybe having it at Easterns in their bookstore would be really good. Maybe some of the sororities, if they have those kind of things, would be a really good thing too, where they have like author days or author showcases, I
Yeah.
guess you would say. Yeah, yeah. Are
Yeah.
you any of Greek affiliations, or
No.
yeah,
No, I'm
because
not.
or even like churches. Churches have
Yeah,
the youth
definitely
ministry.
for church. Yes.
Yeah, definitely the youth ministry. That would be good because a lot of kids, I would say kids, but a lot of the youth don't know how to reach out and say, "Hey, I need help." But if they met an author and the author looks like someone that they could relate to, they would get the book, and then that will give them more guidance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And then
just
hopefully hope that they can, get over anything that they're experiencing as well. So yes.
yeah, yeah. And then also too, a lot of times when funeral homes, they don't know what to do, and so they always say, if there's anything that you need me to do, well, they really can give this book. You can give it to like different funeral homes, whether it's Swanson or Kemp or something like that, and say, hey, here's a buy a case of these books, and when people are really struggling, give them this so that they can actually go through it and have hope. And it's not really tough, because sometimes you can give someone who's grieving or just really going through a hard time and give them this big old thick book, And it
Yes.
makes them feel worse because they don't have the attention span to go through this. But I like this because it's really not a lot. You
Yes,
know,
it's
it's
not.
like, yeah, it's like one of the things is the question says, have you seen something good come out of a bad situation in your life? If so, what was it? Again, you're pointing people up
Yes.
to
Yes.
hope. Like, okay, so when did you see something good come out of a bad situation? So it helps you think that instead of going the negative, you're helping them go
Yes.
towards the positive, to the hope as well. I
Yes.
like that.
Yes. Because a lot of times we can get stuck, we can get stuck in grief and sadness. So that was definitely my goal to let them know that there is hope, So yeah.
Don't stay stuck. Get
Yeah.
get help and get hope. Get the book,
Yeah.
or get it for a friend. Get it for a friend that you know that may be going through some things, and without you really knowing what to say, because sometimes we don't know what to say, but just get the book and just say, "Hey, I just, I saw this podcast with Samantha. I think it might help you," and that
Yeah.
will be a really, really good gift to give someone.
Yes.
And they may not look at it right then, but who knows? I always think that it's divine time, and when they're ready, they'll pick it up, they'll read it, and they'll go through it.
Yes. I agree
Yeah,
with you. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So who else is the inspiration for the book? I know you had the dedication to it as well, and I know it was your mom, but there were some other people in here that you did a dedication to.
Yes, definitely my son. He's my inspiration for everything. So definitely him. He's only 10 right now, but
Oh,
we all have seasons in our life to when we get older. We have highs and lows. So I just also wanted to write this book to kind of leave it to him when he's experiencing things in life if I'm not here.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And then also
And then,
I'm sorry.
then I also saw it says Dr. Miles Monroe. It says eyes that look are common, but eyes that see are rare. For sight is a function of the eyes, and vision is a function of the heart. I love Dr. Miles Monroe. He
Yes,
was my
you do.
client. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So reading inspirational books, or even having other people, Miles has since passed, but how his words still empower people, which
Yes.
is really why I love books. uh,
Yes.
because books stay there forever. Even though he's gone, his words stay, and so that's one of the main things of just really giving books make really, really good gifts. And then
Yes.
people just realize that there's purpose in a lot of the things that we do. There's purpose
Mhm.
in pain, and then there's hope. And that's what your book really kind of directs people towards as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Do you already had the book signing? How successful was it? Did
It was
what
really
did you
great.
think of
Yeah,
it? Good,
I had a
good.
beautiful turnout. It was really great. So yes, I'm looking forward to everything that's to come. So yes,
Good, good, good. Was
yes.
there anything else? Is there a website you want to direct people to?
I do have a Facebook page, the possibilities of hope that people can go on and you follow me in regards
Okay.
to book signings. Yes, and the book is available on
Okay.
Amazon.
All right.
Yes,
Good. Well, definitely we know it's going to be on Amazon because we're doing
yes,
Amazon Live. So that
yes,
is for sure. So, and you're available to do workshops and things like that as well to kind of take people through the book as well. And so that's one of the things. So we look forward to seeing more coming out of you, and the poem, one of the things I said that people can do with poems is that they can make them songs. So I've looked maybe making part of your poetry a song, Jacqueline Carr, or, those kind of things where they're looking for words that
yes,
they can put to music. So that will be a good next step for you as well.
yes. I write it. I write songs as well. So yes,
Oh, there
yeah,
you go. Yes, yes. So yeah, that person who is a poet, it's music that they hear when they're writing it as well. So that's part of it as well. So yeah, I just figured that would be your next step for that.
yeah.
So thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us today. This has been really, really good, and people will follow you on Facebook, Possibilities
Yeah.
of Hope, and then also too they can connect with you via your publicist as well, which I put the link down there as well in the show notes as well.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
All righty. Thank you so much for joining us today. God bless
You
you, and we'll
too.
talk to
Thank
you
you.
soon. All
Okay.
right.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.